What's up, guys? We have another episode of Car Talk, and I'm joined by all my favorite all my super studs are my favorite super studs, but these guys have been with us many, many times. You've already gotten very familiar with them. It's fun to see kind of an ongoing cast of characters. So we won't have to spend too much time on the introduction. In fact, we're going to jump right into the icebreaker and kind of use that as a way to jump right in. But then as you answer your question, just state your name and where you're from. And maybe how long you've been playing the game. And so ThisBeChris, kick us off with the icebreaker, man. Let's get into it.
Yeah. All right, let's do it. So for me, I'm from around Philadelphia. I'd say I probably started playing within the first 6 months or so, but kind of more competitively, probably about a good year into the game. So for me, or I guess I should say the question first. So my icebreaker this week was, who throughout the course of the entire time you played Mario Kart Tour is your sort of like all-time MVP, the driver that came in clutch for you the most, or used most for ranked or ACR, or however you define that for you. And for me, it was, I think, based on the timing of when I played, but also like she was the first driver I took to like 4 and 6 and then 7 is Pink Gold Peach. She's just a monster in terms of her coverage. She's the first coin box driver that I triple capped, and so if she's top shelf, she's who I'm using. So she's kind of my all-time MVP. Obviously not used as much in ranked this last year or so, but that's who I would go with.
Awesome, man. And maybe we'll jump to Angelita, just because I know on the last event you were in, you actually literally fell asleep maybe an hour or two ago. So before we get any other questions, we'll at least get your icebreaker in, just in case you fall asleep. Go ahead and answer ThisBeChris's wonderful icebreaker.
Okay, so I'm from the UK, and I started playing in July of 2020 because I was bored. And I think if I had to choose my favorite, this is only because my son absolutely loves her, and I couldn't do anything until she was played with in the game. So it would have to be Toadette. He absolutely adores Toadette. She was the very first one that I had. She was the very first one that I maxed. And yeah, she's not a high end, but at the same time as well, it was just the cuteness of her. So she's my favorite, and she's the one that I started out with. So I've got to give her props for that.
I love it. We'll go from John Girl to John Boy. John Boy, tell us a little bit about your MVP, man. Your personal MVP.
My personal MVP. Hi guys, it's John Boy from South Carolina. I've been playing since day one. I play competitive ACR and I play competitive multiplayer. Yeah, I mean,
and by the way, and you represent the Gilded Racers. I want to make sure I apologize to the Gilded Racers, representing a wonderful clan. I got it wrong. I apologize. I didn't mean to butcher it. So there you go, John Boy. I got it out there for the world to hear.
Hey, gravy biscuits are fantastic though. But anyway, oh my God. Anyway, I'm gonna have to give it to Bob, Gold King Bob. He's the main man. I mean,
do you remember a specific situation where he got you out of a bind?
I mean, he just shows up everywhere. I mean, you don't even know. I mean, I think, I can't remember what track it was, but there was a track that I really, didn't like to grind because, I had really bad characters or whatever. And then obviously having a coin box on that track is going to make it so much better and so much easier to grind, especially to get points and, keeping combo and stuff. So hats off to Gold King Bob. He's a beast. If you don't have him, get him.
Oh, you were talking about the Gold King Bomb. I thought you were talking about the regular one.
Oh my God! This speaking of somebody falling asleep he sleeps with his eyes open, man.
Yeah, the regular King Bomb is terrible. That's why that's a funny joke. In case try not to explain my own jokes, but there you go. Had to there.
If you have to
explain your own joke, right?
If you have to explain your own joke, then it's probably not funny.
Yeah, it was purposely, maybe not purposely, but it was a bad joke regardless. And so just trying to put some pizzazz there. But yeah, King Bob actually was my answer as well. So I just know this past summer he was just so amazing, and I think he was an immediate 1400 at the time. So many people were doing it. It wasn't like super sexy, but when Tuxedo came out, I did the same thing with Tuxedo, and obviously grabbed a lot of attention. Obviously, I think the main attention was from FrenzyFans. I got lambasted for, so I'll let you guys go next. So like that transition, I'll let you guys go and answer your icebreaker. By the way, wonderful mug. You want to show the audience?
Like a boss.
Like a boss.
He keeps my hot chocolate warm,
Hey, that flame breath comes in handy, don't it?
It does. It does. It's a perpetual heating mechanism. Yeah, so I would absolutely love to get on here and tell everyone that I was super smart from the get-go and knew how to play this game and pulled for and completely maxed out Black Birdo from the get-go. But I didn't, because when I saw that pipe, I was like, that's a dumb pipe. Like 6 Birdos with like 18 Birdo cards. They're all supers? What?
Right.
Little did I know that that's the exact feeling that must be detected in order to obtain gold in this game. So yeah, no, not Black Birdo. I don't know that I really have like one character that's like gotten me out of a bind per se. But I think the very first character driver that I did completely max out, like once I got him, so like I pulled for him and then just dumped 30 tickets on immediately, was Chemic. And he was instrumental in my first successful run at ACR top 100. So I guess he kind of has like a little warm spot in the cuckles of my heart.
Cuckles.
Cuckle.
We learned that from Alex Young, by the way. He said that once. I was like, what the heck are you talking about?
Nice word.
I was going to guess the FrenzyFans gal had the cuckles of your heart, but we'll let her answer the question. Go ahead, FrenzyFans.
I don't even know what the cuckles of your heart are.
Yeah, we had to look it up. I had no clue what Alex was saying. I probably even got it wrong. He's probably listening to this. Is like, no, it's the wrong word.
Okay, so for me, this is hands down not my best driver at all, but Penguin Toad has more times than not come in clutch when I don't have like anything else top shelf. He's been like the one driver, and the only reason why like I rival in that is because he didn't have him for a long time, and so the only courses that he didn't have a top shelf driver, and I was like, yes, I'm better than you. So Penguin Toad.
Nice. It is fun when you have when you have that friend, or you have for you guys, obviously, you guys being, seeing each other's loadouts side by side and having like a different loadout. I think that so many people, like, at least, that a lot of my friends have similar loadouts, we invest in the meta. But it would have been fun, like early on, to have, had different investments and be like, I got you here. Like it was kind of fun, like a little in some ways with that Tuxedo Mario, because I was rooting for him, and like, you guys weren't. It made it a little fun. So it was definitely one of the most memorable moments last year. Night Roso, no transition whatsoever, but take your shot at the icebreaker, man.
All right. So I'm Night Roso. I live in Utah. I've been playing since day one. I was a Gold Pass only. Then like right around when year one ended, year two began, I was a Dolphin for a couple months, and I've been pack free for like a year now. For the icebreaker, kind of difficult.
Sounds like we're in an AA meeting right now.
I was gonna say you need a badge or something.
I'm pack free for a year.
I'm a recovering whale. Yeah. Recovering dolphin. Sorry, go ahead.
In year one, it was Peach Vacation. She was like the goddess of Peach.
Really was.
Peach Vacation was the goddess of MPT in year one. Year two was Peach Wedding. She was like one of the best in the game. She's fallen so far. She's like 44th at Tabers rankings now from like top 5. Sad, but she was up there. Year 3, been Satellaview so far. Took him to 7, double capped the first tour. And then for all time, honorable mention to Kingu Gold. He's just been consistently useful, but I have to go Pinkle Peach. I got her the first anniversary tour, took her to 6. She's been useful so often.
Awesome, man. I think that I love those answers. We did Vacation Peach, just the driver deep dive of the week, and it was fun reminiscing about the times when we had the Toad circuits and we, and using the coin box really for the first time and learning, at least from my perspective. I was like, I love coin box because it can help me keep calm because I'm so terrible. So we have a lot to talk about tonight. There's a lot going on in the community. For one, we'll be spending a lot of time really from the beginning of this call, probably maybe even for the first hour, but we'll be talking about daily selects. There's been some major shakeup there. We'll also be covering a 3-tour celebration and kind of what that's like. We've gotten some visuals as to what's in store for the next couple of weeks here. We'll talk a little bit about some strategies, some skills, if we get to it, some RNG and some opinions. But before we go any further, our good friend Jeeves, who's been on a lot of our Kart Talk, he's been a pillar in this community. He's taken a break from the game, and I think this is a good time just to say if anyone needs to take a break from the game, we'll still be here. Feel free to kind of if you get burnt out, if you are feeling a certain kind of way, just know you have our blessing, but also know that you have a good group of friends here waiting for you. So Jeeves, I got some bourbon here. Cheers, sir. We'll love to have you come back when you do. But there you go. Shout out to Jeeves. We just love Jeeves so much. All right, guys. So daily selects. We'll start there. I'll do just a general PSA for those of you who had not heard. Maybe you've been under a rock. Maybe you don't have Reddit. You don't have Discord. People haven't really necessarily talked about it as much on YouTube quite yet. But it's a hot topic. There has been some data mining. We'll try to kind of keep concealed some of the names and information there. But there was a table that was data mined within the game's code. It appears as if the daily select ticket odds have actually are listed there. In fact, the old score or the old odds were listed there, as well as also these new odds, which do look like the dominant odds. And so the high end ticket odds, those have how often they appear has changed from a 5% high end driver ticket, 3% high end kart ticket, and 2% glider ticket to 2% across the board. So really what's taking a huge hit is the driver ticket. It is going from 5% to 2%. And I'm not saying it is going like it's happening in the future. It's already happened. In fact, we don't even know exactly when it took place. We just saw the effects, I think, from our community. And when we started seeing people start to talk about it, maybe 1 or 2 tours ago. It was relatively recently from what we can tell, but we don't know for certain. So I just try to kind of keep everything with a lot of caveats there. But the drivers from 5% down to 2%, the karts from 3 to 2%. No change at all with the glider. So we've already kind of known that gliders are the hardest tickets to get. Well, now it's on par with everything else. So imagine how hard that was. Now it's going to be that hard to get driver tickets and a little bit lower kart tickets. But so first off, just as Studfit the strategist, hold on to your driver tickets. If you're looking at, debating on trying to put tickets on Peach Happy or something else, just hold on to it. We got Charging Chuck coming up. We got some stuff going on. So that would be my recommendation to you. But there's a lot of trickle down effects from the community. So we'll start, with the pretty broad question that might be on everyone's mind, which Anke actually submitted through our podcast channel. How do you feel about the high end ticket rates in the daily selects dropping from 10% to 6%? How are you guys feeling?
It doesn't really affect me because I only have enough coins to buy. I have all the normals, all the super drivers, all the super gliders maxed. So I get a fair amount of tickets, but I can only buy half of them anyway, since I don't buy any packs or rubies. So I don't, enough coins to buy half of them. So
Night Roso, how many coins do you have right now?
Right now, I don't know. I'll probably say it's a couple thousand. Okay. I usually start each tour with like 1,000 to 3,000. I build up, and then by the end of the tour, I have around the same amount, and I bought just a few tickets. But for whales, that would hit them so hard like a truck. because it's almost having all of their tickets, and especially for if we get a new boomeranger, like if Charge and Chuck has a lucky 7 or a giant banana, they're not going to have really a bunch of driver tickets to take them all the way.
And whales would have to live Mario Kart life just like the rest of us.
No.
Oh, God.
Whale, hello there.
So
I mean, I think it has hit the community pretty hard though, because I mean, we did notice that there was a change in the ratio in terms of the tickets that we do get. And it was something that we were talking about for quite a while, because I don't know how everyone else's game is, but when I started seeing more common tickets more than anything, it's like, I'm like, why in the world have I got so many commons? And it's been going on for quite a while. And since this information came out, we were like, what, seriously? And it does explain why we're not seeing as many drivers and as many carts, because I mean, I think this tour I've had 4 high-end tickets. That's the drivers, carts, and the gliders. And I don't know what Nintendo were thinking when they did it, but it has shaken up the community quite a bit. And like Night Roso said, you know, it's like we got the charging truck coming out, and if that's going to be Lucky 7 or Boomerang or whatever it's going to be, it's important now more than ever to hold on to the tickets. So yeah, you might want to take a particular driver all the way, but we don't know if we're going to get those tickets back to level up somebody else. So yeah, we've got to be really cautious about it. And I see it now as, if I can't win ranked, or if I have somebody who can cover me, I'm going to keep those tickets to the side, because I never know when I'm going to need them. And at the minute, I think I've got about 4 high-end driver tickets, 2 cart tickets. But now the coins are important, because we have to buy them now from the tier shop, you know, and the tier shop's even more expensive. So not only do you need to have the coins, but you've got to be careful now for the tickets, because you never know when you're going to need them. So yeah, I think that a lot of the whales that are out there are thinking, why continue? You know, because it is going to put a spanner in the works for them, and it is going to make you reevaluate if you still want to play the game or not. And that's just my personal take on it. So I don't know how everybody else feels about that, but that's what I'm thinking.
It's just a really cheap move as well. It's like, oh, we're going to basically have your high ticket odds, and they'll tell you, even though they're giving us all these new tracks, this didn't tell us, and pissed off the whole community.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll let everyone vent first, and then we'll everyone get out the negativity. Everyone's screaming, ah! And then we'll talk about like how, what do we do with this information? How does this impact the meta? So anyone else need to vent real quick?
It's not really a vent, but for me, like, it doesn't. I'm prone to hoard tickets and just like spend based off of like ranked and an occasional ACR push. By occasional, I mean one.
Congratulations, right? Yeah.
Yeah, congrats.
I exaggerated with the occasional. A one-time ACR push. But they're there just in case. So it doesn't affect me too much, just the way that I play the game. But I'm curious from like, I feel bad for all the whales, because the one thing that we've always said about the game is like, you can find a place no matter where you're at in life, like to enjoy the game. And I think where a lot of whales or even dolphins that like enjoy the game is you use your skill and like your strategy to get you as far as you can, but it's nice to be able to put money in a game and be able to compete at a higher level. And I feel like Mario Kart has essentially just handicapped you guys. So I'm curious like how that's going to shake out long term as far as like the longevity of, well, first of all, Mario's smart. If all of a sudden he sees a lot of people like stop spending money, they're going to fix it. Like, I think it's kind of one of those things like, I guess I'm just curious like how it's all going to shake out. So I have no idea, but it doesn't affect me too much because I hoard my tickets anyway. So I don't spend a lot.
I got some opinions, but I definitely want to get all the venting out, because I do want to kind of turn the negativity into like what can we do? What do we do with this information now that we've kind of gone through the stages of grief together? And I think you asked the question of how do whales think and feel. I think really ever since I've had the daily selects maxed, every night I go to bed like a little excited. Like I wonder what's going to happen when I wake up, and what's going to be under my pillow. Is it going to be a driver? Maybe it could be a double. Like, and then sometimes I'll even like get up in the middle of the night and take a look at my phone and say I have to see it, and then there's no high end ticket, and I'm like, can I just like sleep throughout the day through the whole day, or I don't even like, I'd lose motivation. I don't know if maybe I'm just more emotional than a typical player, but it does have like a depressing factor when I open it up and I don't see anything. I sometimes scroll like the first three just to see it, like, do I have any in the first three? Do I have any in the second three? And it is like, to me, it is a motivating factor for how I play the game. And I think, when I think about like where the channel was born, it was born in an investment, like where to invest, coins, rubies, tickets, and with tickets, I mentioned this many times. To me, it's the most valuable resource. I think, when I talk to people, even they're like, I want to get this so I can level it up. I talk to Gold Pass only, like I have 10 tickets, I have 14 tickets. I'm waiting to pull this so I can put those tickets here. And so like, even no matter what kind of range that you play the game, I even put a poll out on the Cart Life server and also our server, is this impacting just only the whales, or is it impacting the entire community? And I've heard a mix of opinions, so I don't think it's unanimous, but I was surprised how much it's impacted the entire community, because I think we had mentioned it in the ER server. Some people were like, it's just it's a whale thing, it's a whale problem, and I was like, I don't know if it is, and I kept thinking about it. I'm like, I wonder if it might even be impacting Gold Pass only and free to play even more, because you guys can't pull stuff or buy packs to take something from 1 to 0 to 3, or pull it 3 or 4 times to get it to a certain level, especially in special pipes and whatnot. So from my perspective, I do wonder. That's the case of Night Roso. You made a good point that you think it might actually have more impact on whales, and I think it's impacting everybody to some extent, and from that perspective, it's not something to be overlooked. Now I will say, we're all in Discord servers, we're all in the community. Everything is a big deal to us in our little circles, and in the grand scheme of things, going from 10% to 6%, it's not like could be worse. They could be just totally get rid of our daily selects, and we don't have that anymore. And so I do think of it, that could be a possibility too. But overall, I will say the whales are it is there's an endorphin rush that is no longer there. When it comes to getting excited about the game, one of my favorite things is to be able to dump tickets on something and have a vampire flyer at 7, or have something at a certain high level. So that excitement, is gone, or is quenched a little bit. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on all of that? And does anyone else feel that way when you open the daily selects and get the endorphin rush?
That way.
Yeah.
Stud, I can definitely relate to what you're saying though, and because that's like the first thing you do when you open the game, and like after reset is look at your shop. And for me, it's it's that, like you said, it's that rush saying, yes, I got a ticket, and sometimes there's 2, 3, and I've seen even as many as 4 tickets in my shop. But I thinking those days are long gone. But like you said, what's the effect's going to be is, like you're saying, it's going to affect the whales. It's going to affect everybody. But I'm thinking short term, it's going to affect the whales, like me and you, more. But long term, I think it's going to catch up to everybody, especially the people, like you said, free to pay Gold Pass, that aren't buying packs or getting,
or the Premium Challenge Plus, as an example.
Yeah, they're not getting these tickets that we normally have access to. So they can't level up anything at all. So if they're not getting anything in their shop, they're stuck, basically where they're at. indefinitely because, you know, they're not leveling these things up the way we do. So short term, yeah, it's going to affect us, but longer term, if this continues, it's going to trickle down and it's going to affect the free to play and gold pass community more than it would affect us. Because, you know, we buy the rubies, we buy the packs, we still have a supply of tickets that are at our disposal. And some of the lower players that don't necessarily spend money don't have access to or just don't have, and now their resources are getting completely cut off.
Yeah,
So
Go for it.
As I say, I think where a huge like line in the divide is between the whale players or the dolphin players and the free gold pass players is it wasn't even until like a couple months ago that I actually maxed out some of my supers. So I feel like I'm still in that stage of the game where like the past couple months have been super exciting because I do have more tickets available to me. But I think we probably haven't heard an uproar from the free to play and the gold pass because I think it's a lot harder to max out those daily selects. So they might not have, like, it just might not be a part of their strategy yet. But it's gonna make like, I love hoarding my tickets. So when I go into like a ranked and have like a double feature or triple feature, I can like load in on a player. It's gonna change my strategy when it comes to that because I'll have more of the mentality of, well, I want to keep some stuff in reserve just to top things off occasionally. And if tickets aren't coming in, it's gonna suck.
it really, you know, makes you wary of what you invest in as well, because you know you're not getting those resources back. So what you invest in needs to help you on the long term, not just the short term.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, speaking of what you invested, also because before driver tickets were a lot more common, so you're probably a lot more sparing with driver tickets. You know, you see a driver, you're like, okay, I'll throw a few tickets, but you see a glider, you're like, oh, they're a lot more rare. I'm not gonna use any tickets. But now that they're all even, you might, you'll probably see people more hesitant to put tickets on drivers than they were before, and carts to that matter.
Yeah, I will say it's of my opinion that this actually driver tickets are the ones that probably need the least, and here's why. For me, I only invest in, you know, top skills, and so it's pretty easy. It's pretty cut and dry which drivers I'm going to invest in, which ones are going to take tickets on, you know, and they've been giving us so many, you know, top skills. It's been probably about 50% of the drivers that have come out. So yeah, that part has been tough to keep up with. Yes, but I don't have to worry about, you know, should I put tickets on this person or not? Maybe I don't get it to it right away. Maybe I don't take the 7 immediately, but I think it's very, very easy for us to be able to, and we might have lost somebody, but it's very easy for a decision-making process for me to decide, yes, this person, no, this person. Like I'm not going to put tickets on somebody doesn't have a top skill. Whereas with carts, we have no idea which ones are going to be good or not. We can see a hitbox, we can see the track coverage, but if it's a little newer, try to err on the side of investing in a newer driver. But we don't know for certain if they're going to be, you know, good or not. So Saddle of You was really smart for you to put tickets on him right away because you knew he was a top skill. We don't know if the Luna Cruiser would have good value or not. You know what I mean? So I think from that perspective, like we can be a little bit more. I don't think you have to be quite as gun shy with a driver ticket versus a cart ticket. You know, but at the same point in time, it's you know the carts. That's probably what's going to hurt at least me the most. I know it's only 1%, but you know that's cut it by 33%. So. For me, it's like that's what I need the most because there's so many carts, and I'm always like that's where I'm struggling with my coverage is the carts, and so that's what I'm I guess least looking forward to. I don't know if everyone feels the same way about, you know, how you're going to invest in a driver versus something else, but something to put out there too.
I mean, I did take Lunar Cruiser the 7 triple cap, so
Yeah.
How's that?
I love it.
I mean, it has been banked for it.
It's been pretty valuable. Yeah, I've been using it a fair amount, so I probably shouldn't have done that, but I love the card, so I don't care.
Pretty cool. So frenzygrind asks, what percentage of the player base do you think are getting fed up with the new daily select rates, the dry shops? They'll eventually make decisions with their account, like maybe cancel the gold pass or to decrease some of their habits, and maybe even I don't know, maybe even quit the game if it doesn't change. What are your thoughts there?
My biggest concern with the change, I mean, it's obviously it's a level playing field in the sense that we're all playing with the same odds. It's a little uneven in this sense, kind of what Frenzy Girl was saying about people being at different, spots in terms of their daily select ticket, availability in general. My biggest concern, like once we kind of figured out that this was real, is that kind of back to what John Boy was saying, is that it affects I'm trying to think of the right word, the trajectory or like the rate of growth that you had for your own account.
Mhm.
And I think that the more that it impacts you in that way, the more discouraging it is to you, because it's kind of like any game. Like whenever you stop growing and progressing, it's like, well, then what's the point? I mean, obviously this game has a lot of different variables involved, but there's still that sort of like, oh man, this kind of stinks, and just like you were saying, Studfit, there's that whole, I don't know if they thought that if we get them less frequently, that it would be more exciting when we get them in the daily selects, but I don't think that that's probably the case for most people. I think that it does take a little bit of that joy away. I mean, I think in the long run it'll sort of just become the normal, and it's just going to be up to us as players to just say, okay, I'm either okay with this new rate of growth and sort of this new norm, or I'm not. And
Can I ask a question?
no.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope it doesn't get.
Sure.
I don't think it's
Sounds like a trick question's about to come.
trick question. I don't think it's
Go
made
ahead.
us too off topic, but assuming that Nintendo made this decision based on the idea that they don't want like the top, 2% of the players to just like way outperform everybody else and then make it like too divided. Assuming that would be the reason, would you have rather them slow down daily selects, or would you have rather them release level 8?
That
Daily
is
selects.
the question.
Because
By a long shot.
long term, I think you'd have the same effect as far as like slowing down the growth. But I don't know which one would have been better as far as.
Yeah. So
I
can I answer your question?
Go for it. Yes.
So I've been holding out.
Okay.
I have the unpopular opinion.
Okay.
So everything
We
in
haven't
life,
talked about this yet, so I have no idea.
everything in life has cause and effect.
So much buildup. We need like a drum roll. So exciting.
This better be the most epic brain drop ever.
I live with this every single day.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to try not to fumble all over my thoughts, because people have been saying stuff and I'm like, oh yes, I want to get back to that. And oh, I need to get back to that. But that was like 10 minutes ago. So bear with me, but unpopular opinion. I think that this isn't Mario doing something, a cause, and us reacting to it. I think we, the player base, have done something first, and Mario, Nintendo, is reacting to it.
Okay.
Okay.
Dun 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 dun.
So
Yeah, okay.
stand by. I'm going through my
I feel like you should have like
procession
a
of thoughts here.
change my mind sign in front of you or something.
Yeah, change my mind.
Right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, we all watch Carlos, right? And I didn't watch the video, but I did listen to the rundown, where I think there was something made mention of Carlos took the dragon wings from level 1 to 7 and triple uncapped for this tour.
I think he had it at 6, but he did triple uncap it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
He did. I think he took the 8-bit super mushroom though, just at level 7.
Okay.
If that is a good point for you.
All right. So apparently I'm not as studied up on my Carlosology as I should have been.
I mean, if you
But-
heard it from me, maybe I didn't do a good job explaining it. So
I have seen his ACR heat map loadout sheet.
Mhm.
And I also have seen his ticket stashes. And right now he's averaging level 7 for everything, and very close to the triple uncap of everything, if not double uncap. I think he's surpassed the double uncap average of everything and is now getting more towards the triple uncap. Okay.
Sure.
So he's probably close to the 2,600 mark, is what you're saying.
Yep. Okay. So inevitably, if the behavior of Mario were to continue with the same rate of tickets that we've enjoyed since the beginning of the game, as far as our knowledge, certain players would get to a point where they no longer, they would be treating high-end tickets the same as they're treating common and super tickets, where they're superfluous. You don't need them. In order to stay competitive, you don't have to have every single item in the entire game maxed out. You have to have a certain combination maxed out. And from tour to tour, you know, like the chess pieces, they kind of like switch around a little bit. But you're going to get to a place where level up tickets are no longer going to matter. And Carlos, I saw him, I don't know why I'm talking about Carlos so much, but yesterday I saw he had
having dreams about him or something.
In Discord, he said new goal to now have the largest margin of a win between first and second. Because his skill is so good, it's no longer a point of allocation of tickets or resources because he has so many. Oh, by the way, I think he still has like over 30 like level up tickets and uncapped tickets currently.
That's impressive.
And his current loadout for this tour is fully maxed pretty much everything. So what, I'm picking on Carlos. I'm not saying
Not
that,
in a bad way.
No, you know,
No.
He's the thing that I'm
You're
just
using
focusing on.
his account as an outlier.
He's at the leader. He's the leader of the pack, let's say, and there are quite a few players that aren't far behind him, and Nintendo sees this, and in order to be able to keep those players engaged in the game, something has to happen. Now, they've been listening to us for so long, where we passively say, not level 8, please, no, not level 8, not now. So Mario's like, okay, all right, we won't give you level 8, but we have to do something in order to be able to slow this down. So what's something that we can do that may or may not go under the radar? It could have happened that they changed this like a long time ago. Probably not, because we're all so involved with the game that we notice whenever anything happens. But by not announcing it and just changing a little bit of code on something that you didn't always get a ticket every single day, and then all of a sudden it was, oh, now you're only getting one ticket like every week, like that dramatic. It was just, you know, from 10% to 6% overall to try and get a ticket. Something had to happen. So I think that this is actually the effect from Nintendo of the cause of the player base getting to a certain point in the game, that something needed to change in order to be able to continue the competition. So here's the thing is I am super, super excited for the day when the top 10 players for ranked don't have enough tickets.
Stop it.
Hold on. I totally preface this whole thing with unpopular opinion, so I better get a face like that. I can't wait for the day when top 10 players, in order to be able to place top 10, don't have enough tickets and have level 1 and middle shelf items for ranked.
That would be so sad.
Like the rest of us. Seriously.
But
When was the last time that a whale
that's
looked
like
at a
an
top
Indian-
shelf and was like, oh my gosh, I don't have something, or I only have 3 items at level 1, but only 2 or 3 tickets, and my opponents all have level 6 drivers right now. That's me. Like every other ranked for the past probably 4 or 5 months.
It's been rough. Yeah.
And honestly, my mantra of my game is now second is the new first, because first place is now 10 to 20% more points than the clump of everyone else in second through 5th. And in order for me to get first, I have to put all of my resources, like Hero Apocalypse, I had to have maxed out everything. It worked out great that tour because I was trying to get for top 50. I did it anyway. But there's no way that I would have been able to compete with him or any of these other number one players that I have in my ranked, because I'm not going to I don't have the resources to put 16 tickets on brand new stuff every single tour.
So to your point though, because you think that'd be fun to see because you're
you would.
satanic like that, but
Satanic? What? Maybe sadistic.
sadistic, that's the word I was going for. Sleep deprived, jet lag going on here. Okay, you're sadistic like that. But that being said, what does that do for the income of the game? Like, does that push, like if all of a sudden you're telling all the whales who you say, hey, you can spend and compete and get first.
Okay, so here's the thing, is that money, the revenue, has to do with rubies, and rubies is equated with obtaining new things. The competitiveness, and in order to be able to get high scores, that comes from the level tickets, because you can have a 200 action run with level 1 everything on top shelf and only get 14,000 points, or level 7 with everything on top shelf and get 50,000 points. You can be the greatest player in the world, brand new to the game, but not be competitive because you don't have the tickets.
To play devil's advocate to that though, is there decreased incentive to make sure you spend enough money to have enough rubies to have all the new stuff if you don't have the resources to take it to even compete with your own prior existing inventory?
No, but see, that's the thing, is everyone's in the same boat. So top 10 players, they're going to have 2 or 3 cups that have a course where they have just a top shelf driver that's at like level 1 or 2, but they're all there. So instead of everyone averaging 50,000 points for every single course over 36 courses, there's now going to be 2 or 3 of those 36 courses where they only get 20,000 points. But that's not the end of the world, because they're all there, just as long as they're getting the 200 actions. And then it becomes way more of a strategy game for whales, because they're not sitting on 2, 3, 4 dozen tickets.
So
Where I get what you're saying.
Whenever they want to go, all they have to do is just snap their fingers and boom, they have high levels everything. If they have to think, oh my gosh, I seriously only have 5 tickets for this brand new tour with these 3 new items that are here, where do I put them in order to be able to try and outmatch my opponents? Like, that is the engaging part of the game. Like,
you're totally right about it affecting the strategy that way, but it makes me wonder if they're going to continue to pump in the money if now they're just being forced to change strategies because Nintendo decided it. That's my concern.
New things. Money is rubies to obtain new items, and then once you have the new item, you don't see people pulling 100 pipes 14 times to level something brand new up. Like, you get it the once, and then you put the tickets on it.
Well, to be honest, that actually used to be a thing back in the early days of the game. People actually did that.
But
they would empty a pipe 3 or 4 times,
but not 14.
Not 14.
No.
But multiple times they would do it.
Like, I know. I'm not trying to put her in a bad light, because I absolutely love Gamer Amy, but I know she pulls.
I knew you were going to talk about Amy.
She pulls it 2 or 3 times to be able to get it, because that does save that many tickets. And so I don't think that's extremely rare. I think all of your points are interesting. I'll put it that way. I liked what you said at the end. I don't know if I fully buy into the entire story, but I think that there is a couple things that you can pull out of it, which is, one, maybe there's something that we have done that have caused this, and that's perfectly fine. I think the wishing Carlos had to do something with a mid shelf drive. I still think he would probably whip our butts. He legitimately is like really good at the game. I think it makes me think, just in the philosophical world, there have been hackers in the past that can basically take everything to the top level immediately, just like, with some code change around or whatever. But still, even then, they couldn't do things, they couldn't beat many even players who had something at 5 or 6 because they just didn't have the skill. And so, I know that there's even been people that have had, pretty good skill and had, level 7 or level 6 things and, still lose. And so I think that, it makes people wonder, hey, what if we all had the same inventory, right? Like what would the game be like? It would be probably maybe more fun, but then we also wouldn't have a game in 2 months because we wouldn't have, revenue coming in. So, I think when it comes to, like, say, Carlos, like, as long as the game stays the way it is, he's going to keep investing, into the game. And honestly, he probably has spent more money in the game than every single person who now is not playing the game because their phone was obsolete 2 months ago, when that update came out. Like, there is something to be said for how much someone invests in the game, and to kind of throw things. I don't think Carlos is sweating at all that this daily selects change. I think it actually impacts more the lesser whales or the dolphins or the people that are like, hey, I really like just investing in stuff. I like using fun stuff, and really at the end of the day, like this game is more fun than anything. And if you're going to take a little bit of that fun, it's just not fun anymore. So I think you bring up fun points to talk about, though. So anyone else want to add to that? Maybe I'll ask Jungle. What do you think? I know we've been kind of talking over each other.
I understand where FrenzyFans is coming from. I do understand totally, because I mean, yeah, you can have like dozens of tickets that are sat there, and as you're going to go through the tours and get the new stuff, you are going to get to a stage where your tickets are going to be depleted, and it is going to end up being that you could have everything in a game, but then when you get to that one tour where you pull for something and you've got that level 1, you're gonna have to keep on pulling and pulling and pulling just to level it up. And like you say, yeah, you're not going to go and pull on a pipe 14 times, because I'm not going to do that. I ain't that crazy. I like to, I like to go shopping, but I ain't that crazy, But I think it is going to get to that stage where everybody will be on that level playing field. And it is going to have an impact on them. It is going to affect the way how the game is played, and it's going to change the strategy of the game. Not only that as well, but you got to think, is someone going to keep on spending? Because I'm the sort of person that when I play a game, if I get bored of it, I'm like, okay, see you later. I'm playing a new game, But at the same time, because Mario Kart is engaging, and because it is a fun game, and because it is strategy, you want to do everything and be the best that you can be, you are going to keep gravitating back to the game. But it is going to be interesting to see where it does go, because yeah, you can, and I know that yesterday nights, well, early today for you guys, but yesterday for me, I know that Knights was going to invest, I think it was 5 tickets, 5 or 6 tickets on Meows. They take him to 7. And I said to him, is he going to make you win ranked this week? And he said, probably not, because the person who's first has a better loadout for a few of the other tracks. And I said to him, okay, this is what I personally think. Save your tickets, because if you can't win, you never know when you're going to need them the next tour. And he agreed with that. And I don't know if he did it or not, but we have been talking about it.
Taunting him too. Dad is saying, don't be a sissy, just do it. Just do it.
I wouldn't do it at all. I'm like, no, not a chance. I've got some tickets that I sat there, and I said to John, I said, I'm not going to spend any more tickets this tour and anything, because with this information coming out a couple of days ago, it's important now more than ever to hold on to those tickets. Like I say, I'm not a whale. I just play the game, and if I see something, I just go on it. Or if I want to save my ticket, I'll say, okay, yeah, I can get onto that. But now for me, I've got to be more wise in terms of what I do. But I know that we were talking about it as well in the Hangouts, because it was me, John, God Mode, Dragon, Mark, and that, and we were just there talking. And I think the guys all feel the same way, because these guys are like mega whales, they will spend the money. They've been day one players. And to me, if it's got them talking about it, what's going to happen in the future, So I think it is important more than ever to keep on to, just like keep hold of the stash and literally play it more effectively and change our game plan. But like you say as well, we didn't want level 8 We didn't want, I reckon player level 200. So what do? You go in sneakily, you change a little bit of code in, and you think, okay, yeah, let's see what they say. And then
6
now
months
we
down
find
the
out.
road, those same people would be talking, saying how disengaging the game is, because literally for every single item in that ace, or like for all 36 courses, they can no longer spend tickets because everything is already maxed. So they're either talking about it now or they're talking about it then, and it's inevitable. It's got to be talked about, but Nintendo can't sit and do nothing and stay profitable. They have to change something, and it's keeping people competitive. And if by limiting resources or moving the ceiling higher is the option, they've probably done like a risk cost analysis, whatever it's called, where like how many people will we discourage if we put in level 8 right now? X amount. How many people are we going to discourage if we kind of subvertively like change the how many high-end tickets you get?
Sure. I guess
X greater than Y.
Thought, one thought to think about is that, you know, one of those options pisses off the people who are putting a lot of money in the game, which would be, you know, lowering this daily select. Whereas, you know, versus, you know, raising to level 8, I think would piss off a lot of the Gold Pass only or Dolphins, because I think, you know, Jeeves was actually excited when we talked with him on Monday. He was really excited about level 8. He was like, bring it. I love that. You know, and for us, like we're pulling, I think to your point earlier, I think the action that we took that has potentially caused this is, I think, how we have all interacted with Coinbox pipes, right? Because we all have the Coinbox drivers, these special pipes. They're amazing pipes. Like on paper, they are absolutely phenomenal pipes. But you know what? I'm not pulling on them because I have all the Coinbox drivers at 7. And so I think that is like, Nintendo's like, why are we giving these amazing pipes and no one's pulling on them? It's because they have all these Coinbox drivers already at level 7 from day 1. So here's one way to potentially curb that. And I get that, but I don't think even then we're still going to probably invest in Coinboxers earlier rather than later. So there's that caveat. I think if it's up to Nintendo, they would rather take it back to level 6. You know, I think in my opinion, what this says to me says that they want to help the new players catch up to the whales. Because they're a new player who's just starting, yesterday, is not going to have the daily selects maxed. So it kind of slows down everybody while catching them up. What I thought was genius, and probably what kept this game will probably go on for another 2, 3, maybe even 5 years. What one move that they made that I think if they didn't make it could end the game, could have already ended the game already. And I think that's the cap tickets. Because what it does is it gives everybody these tickets all around the same time. So we're all building up, you know, Carlos has only gotten maybe 10 more cap tickets than anyone else on this call, because, you know, through the tier shop or whatever, because everything else, it's all things equal. We're all kind of growing our accounts equally with these cap tickets. And so, you know, I think from my perspective, you know, level 8's not the answer. Level 8's just it's a apocalyptic, you know, burn the game type of move. And so, yeah, you're right. Yeah, maybe daily selects is the lesser of two evils. But I think Nintendo, if they really wanted to keep this game going for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, 10 years down the line, it's to maybe add a different resource. And maybe I was thinking about it today. I was like, what kind of resource could they add? You know, here's an idea, but you guys get the point. It's something similar to the cap ticket where everyone gets equal amounts. There's no daily selects where somebody can, you know, get more, but like a multiplier ticket. Like before the race starts, you could say, I want to, you know, 2x this race or 3x this race, and I get that many more points. And so, you know, it could make things competitive, it make things strategic, but something like that, where it's kind of like a cap ticket where we all kind of get equal amounts. We have to use it sparingly and use it at strategic times, but it can allow them to be able to, you know, compete a little bit closer to where everyone else is at, because there is a huge gap between some of the super whales and everybody else. But yeah, really good points. Does anyone else feel that we've done this to ourselves, that we deserve this daily selects nerfing?
Everything you're saying makes sense, but what gives me pause is that a lot of this, we're talking like everybody's competing against everybody, and that's not how this game works. Like top 100 people are competing against top 100. top 10 against top 10, top 1,000. But like, me, I'm not competing against my son who's tier 50. You know what I mean? We're not in ranked. Like, that's just not. So yeah, I go back and forth on a lot of these things. There's a lot of great points. I don't think I'm smart enough to figuring this out. So I'll just.
So
I'll
to
just
your
refer
point
to the
though,
people smarter
because
than me.
Studfit was just saying that they're trying to cater to the new players. Well, the new players aren't going to be in the same league as top 1,000, top 100, top
For a
10
long
people
time.
forever. Yeah. So I don't think that I mean, because Studfit, I mean, we all know, you said brand new players don't ever get high-end tickets. Like, you have to have played the game for at least 3 or 4 or 5 months, right? Just logistically, in order to be able to start getting those tickets. So I think, like, just the unpopular opinion, I think that it's a way to be able to keep whales more competitive for a little bit longer.
Without unleashing level 8.
Yeah.
Without unleashing level 8.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So put in my 2 cents real quick. So Frenzy Fan guy, I really like your theory on how Nintendo just like slid that nerf to the daily selects just discreetly in there, hoping no one would notice to slow down the whales. I like that theory, but I do strongly disagree about when you said that you hope to see the whales come down to the same level as everyone else. Because I don't think they should. They're spending thousands of dollars on the game. I think they should be in their own tier. It's like you see someone buy a super expensive car, someone buy a cheap car, you're expecting them to, look the same and run the same. So, yeah. Like what
Yeah, it's
this ThisBeChris was saying.
To me, when I heard it, it was like hearing an inmate saying, I wish the person who was running this jail was in here with me. I'm like, no, like, that's not how this works. You're in there for a reason. They're there for a reason. This is how the system works.
I think what you're saying is, if you're free to play, you're like a prisoner. You're in jail. That's your value to society if you're free to play, right?
Hey, we didn't say that on live TV.
I'd like to disassociate
we love
myself
everybody,
with.
okay?
I'm kidding. I'm 100% joking.
I mean, just because you're not getting 50,000 points on every course doesn't mean that you're in prison. Or, I mean, honestly, like, if you're spending money, you get rubies for that, and the rubies help you acquire new items. The new items are at level 1. Okay, so that's like the first stage of the competitiveness. And then if you and everyone else around you doesn't have a plethora of tickets to be able to pump into these things, you just have to be more strategic where you do use your resources. Like, see, this is the thing I'm saying is, like, Carlos, he has so much resource that he's going to get to a point where there's a brand new tour that comes up and he looks at his loadout and he has nothing to spend tickets on. Like, that's not engaging to him. Like, that's where people get bored and they go to some other game, because that whole level of the game, like the strategy part of the game, it's gone. Like, you can't do anything anymore. Like, it's impossible. You already have everything at level 7.
Yeah, I wish there was a way that they could have done it differently. The reason I say that is because I do think that a lot of motivation comes from micro wins, right? So like little small victories that allow you to feel like the endorphin rush that, hey, I can do that. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing this. Whereas if you're getting these micro losses, you're going to feel depressed. You're going to feel similar to how Jeeves is. You're going to say, hey, you know what? Like, I got screwed on this special pipe, because I was like, for Jeeves, I know specifically he, put a lot of rubies, enough rubies to try to get the Silver Surf Master. Never got it. And that, combined with a lot of other, things going on, was just like, you know what? I've been waiting for these resources. I wanted to level this up. I couldn't even level that up. Like, this to me is, it was the straw that broke the camel's back. But the daily selects, like, psychologically, has been making these micro losses to the point where that straw became too much. And I think that for whales, that is probably, more of a depressing factor than letting the game kind of go as it was, which I don't think anyone was saying. I think we all wanted tickets, and some of us would gripe when we didn't get tickets, but when we didn't see them change the odds, and part of it, the data mining, like, maybe they weren't expecting us to be able to know that. Maybe we thought like, these people in their bubbles not going to talk to each other. They're not going to know what's going on. They're not going to data mine it too. But because we all know this now, we're like, all right, well, yeah. And so, is this the worst thing that could happen to us? No, but I think that they could have done it differently so that these little micro losses, didn't hurt our motivation, because there are people that are looking for something new. And I do think, with all of this being said, if we were actually, this is what I think I love about what Sammy D said, which is I wish they were transparent with us. I wish they gave us odds the way that everything else in the game is very disclosed. And if they said, hey, we'll let you pick between keeping the daily selects the way it is, or we'll kind of nerf it a little bit, but we'll give you brand new tracks. We'll give you brand new characters like Charging Chuck. We'll give you all this thing, and we'll call it a win. We'll just, you get what you want, we get what we want, and we'll keep playing this game as long as possible. So hey, we're in a world where we're eating the stuff up and just like talking about it and discussing it. It's giving a lot of things. I will say, I put this on our server, and you can feel free to follow suit. This is an opportunity for me to kind of talk to the people here, but I've mentioned this on the ER server. You might see people in the top 100 with this going on, but essentially kind of try to create a movement. And so, if you've ever created a support ticket, it's basically useless. They have a template. Who knows if they actually read it or not? They might have, they might not even have an Autobot read it and send out the template. Who knows what's going on? But we're just having everyone create a ticket and then putting in a hashtag FixDS, and anyone who wants to be a part of this movement, we've put it in our name. I don't know if you can, maybe I'll click on the screen so you can see it real quick. Let's see if there's a good, can you see it a little bit now? Not really. Okay, let's if there's a handle with care badge that looks like it's really hard to see with this lighting. I'm sorry.
There's mom.
I can see the badge.
The badge, yeah, it looks like and then there you go. FixDS is what we're putting in our name. So if anyone wants to do that, that's what we're doing. We put it in our community. Feel free to be a part of that movement, but also associating that with a customer support ticket. We'll see what happens. At this point in time, the old rates are still in the system, so it could be a matter of a flipping of a switch. But ultimately, I think from this perspective, we're just trying to see what we can do. So any last points before we move on about that?
I just want everyone to be happy.
So, real quick question, honest question.
Yeah.
As far as our knowledge of how daily selects works, was that ever described to us from Nintendo?
About the odds, I mean?
No, like how to get high-end tickets.
Oh, I don't believe so.
So if Nintendo never taught us how daily select tickets, like getting high-end, worked to begin with, why are we holding them to the standard that they need to tell us when they change the odds of something? Like, we're saying that they're not transparent, but have they ever really been? Like, we've learned this by experience in the game and understanding the mechanics sheerly by playing the game. At no point has any documentation, like officially in the app, to my knowledge, ever come out and said, this is exactly how it works, and you can hold us to it. And, little asterisk down the bottom saying, subject to change and manipulation, whatever, but based on whatever Nintendo wants. They don't have that, and they don't have to, because they don't need to. Like, they can change whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want. And like Sammy says, you just gotta adapt.
Yeah.
Like you observe, you adapt, and you change. And it's just a new portion of the game.
Yeah, and at the same point in time, I'm actually, for all who cares, I don't mind capitalism to a certain extent. It allows us to be able to use $1 for a vote. I vote for this. So in the same way you're talking about, hey, they don't have to disclose stuff. Yeah, I also don't have to, put money into the game. I don't have to use that, and that's my way to say, like, that is my vote. If I'm putting 20 votes towards this or 44 votes towards this, that's my way to communicate with Nintendo that's where I see value in, or that's what I want. So I think I think you bring a good point. They don't have to disclose things with us. They could do anything they want, but I also, in the same way, I could do whatever I want and not play the game. I could, step away from it or take a break or whatever. So yeah, it's really good discussion. I'm sure we're only scratching the surface of what it could be, but at the end of the day, it's just 4% difference. So like, I'm going to try to think about it that way and just try to say, all right, hey, it could be worse. It could just get rid of all high ends in the shop. They could get rid of the shop entirely and just, how like they got rid of the daily check-ins. They replaced with the today's challenge pipe. They could do something like that and just say, we're not doing the daily selects anymore. We're now doing this, and this is what we're doing. And maybe it's a little bit more even, a little bit more beneficial. And honestly, if they did it that way, I don't know. To me, maybe I'd process it better, but I really like, there is an endorphin rush when I wake up in the morning and I get a high-end ticket. I know that the rest of my day is going to be the best day of my life. Like, I literally truly believe it. It's crazy. All right, so I think we hit our hour mark.
One question in.
Yeah.
Oh, we got one more question. Go. Any more questions?
Yeah, I would like to say one
supposed
more
to be
thing
asking
real
the
quick.
questions they're Studfit.
Nate, Roso, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, so to summarize my thoughts on it just real quick, I think that Nintendo is smart for them like trying to slow down the whales because they would reach that cap, like the max they can do very soon. But they are spending thousands of dollars on the game. I think they should be lowered a little bit, but they should still stay in their high tier separate from everyone else. Maybe just like lower that bar a little bit, but they're still separate. If that makes sense at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately one good fix would be to, because there's a bottleneck at level 70 or tier 70, come out with tier 80, and only one player can move up. If you win rank. So like when winning rank, it's not like top 2 or 3 go up. It's just one, and just like let us slug it out. Like that would be cool. That would be fun. That would get us engaged, and we'd be probably battling. We'd be like, oh, dude, I got knocked down one. I got to get up. Got to use throw my resources at this. There's not enough resources. Not enough resources. So yeah, no, right, Matt Rose, a really, really good point. We'll see if there's a way to do that, or if they explore that. But there is the question of, is there something coming? I think some people have thought, hey, maybe this is level 8, maybe this is something else. I don't know. But any other predictions around what this is? This like the first wave of something bigger coming? Is this like the the thing about like a boat coming in? Like we're just seeing like the first couple ripples. Next thing we know, we're going to get a tidal wave.
I think so. Has anyone read the book Who Moved My Cheese? Just curious. Who Moved My Cheese?
No,
Okay, it's a really good parable, but the idea is there's like 6 different personality types, and they all are like in this maze. They're all mice, right? And you show up and you're used to getting your cheese in like the same spot every single day. And then the book is this parable about the 6 different personality types. And when you show up, what happens when your cheese stops being there? So like what happens when your daily selects in the scenario stop showing up? And it's like the 6 different personality types. Like there's the one that like the next day is like, okay, let me go figure out another way to make this happen because I can't rely on this place anymore. And then you have like all the different personality types along the way down to the last person who shows up for like months and months begging for the cheese to come back, when really had you just acknowledge that the cheese is not going to come and go find a different path to like get what you want, you would be so much further ahead. So anyways,
I like that.
I'm curious, like just from like a psychology standpoint, like how this all pans out.
I think that everything that the frenzy couple has been saying it's true, but again, back to what Studfit was saying, is that the difference here is that some of these mice are paying thousands of dollars to play a game a certain way, and then you make a change which affects them negatively. That's the one variable that none of that stuff like accounts for.
100%. Yeah.
For me, the only thing I care about is if as long as the long-term health of the game is okay, then fine. Like we'll all get over these little bumps in the road if that's what they are to you. But yeah, I mean, so anyways, there's so much to say about that though.
Yeah, but you know
what?
what?
Just thinking way too much about this.
Right.
Yeah. Probably
Nintendo's
way
like, what are these people talking about? Go change that code again. We're making a lot of people mad.
Yeah. While Nintendo is moving our cheese, they're also giving us a 3-tour celebration, right? So Puffy the Scottish Dino, Puffton 11-7 FY23 says, how do you all feel about the winter celebration? What are your pros and cons to the announcement? So I know we haven't been together. I know we were all together last time, but we now know we knew what the winter celebration was. We now actually know what it looks like, guys. We're like, we actually are in it. We've seen what they've given us so far. It seems like they've been pretty generous. But what are overall pros and cons so far, what you've seen with this winter celebration?
The one thing that I do like is I like the fact we're going back to LA. I do like that, simply because next week is the Super Bowl. So they've gotten that right. And for once, I can't complain at that tour because it's like anything else that goes on, you know, it's like they seem to get things wrong. Like they've gotten certain things like in Berlin that are wrong. They've gotten certain things in Singapore, which I didn't understand, but I thought the Merlion card was really cool. But to actually get back into LA and to have it coincide with Super Bowl, I think they made a good choice on that. The Sky Tour, I don't know that track, so I can't comment. But I'm looking forward to it. But I think as well that, I mean, we had the holiday celebration thing before Christmas,
yeah.
And now we're having another one, and I'm thinking, when's the next one going to be? So I think that maybe if they would have left it for like about another month or something, it would have made more sense, because then it would come up towards Easter, if that makes sense as well. So they could have just like slammed one in there. But I think to do one so close after Christmas, that's a lot to take in. But I think it can still be fun. But I think it would have been nice if it was more spaced out a little bit. So they could do, I don't know, make it what they could do. They could do an Easter one. They could do a St. Patrick's Day one or something. I don't know. You know, just like think something that way. I mean, I would love to see a St. Patrick's celebration thing. You know, come up in there. But
yeah, a little.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with it. You know,
Baby Luigi leprechaun or something like that.
Yeah,
Just thinking that.
Can you imagine Luigi like walking around like a pot of gold?
So
That'd be so cool.
He'd have a
Like
coin
going
box,
over a
right?
window.
That'd
be so cool.
Yeah, we'll have a three tour Easter celebration, a 3 tours spring celebration, a 3 tour.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it could be too much
I thought they could like fling in like New Zealand or something. Yes, like we could go to like New Zealand, because New Zealand is like famous for lamb as well. So like we could like go down that way and then shoot over towards Ireland for St. Patrick's Day or something like this.
Okay.
And then do like a Wonderland like sort of tour where like you can just like go skipping through the meadows, you know, like Luigi and everything else, and yeah, have like little rainbows where you can just like slide them. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking out the box here. So yeah, I do like it though. I think it is nice, but it would have been nice if it was more spaced out.
Yeah, if they do it too much though. I mean, I love these winter celebrations. I love the pipes, the new stuff. But I mean, if they do it like once every 2 months, then it kind of, the specialness wears off a bit. Which, I mean, the rewards and stuff probably make up for it, but I wouldn't like it super often. It's 2-3 times a year I would like, but I'm fine with it all this time.
Yeah,
kind of trying to. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, ThisBeChris or Jumbo, one of the two. I'd love to get some of your thoughts. I know we've been FrenzyFans and myself been kind of going back and forth, ping ponging it. So I'd love to hear from you guys too.
Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, thanks, man. I was just kind of looking at like what kind of constitutes like a 3 tour celebration, like as opposed to just having like 3 good tours back to back. It's kind of funny because the only thing I can see, at least for these first 2, is there's this one overlapping challenge card, the winter challenges. It's, you know, some rubies and a high-end driver, awesome, but it's really not that much more than if this was like a quote unquote, you know, filler tour, and then next tour, you know, came out, announced on a Friday, and it was like, hey, look, you're getting a new character. The only thing we'd be missing out on is this 31-day card as of now. So there's not a lot like there's not a ton that's different. I think it's mostly good in that it gives you stuff to look forward to. Like we've known about the new character and the new track. And so if something happens in the game, you're like, oh, well, now this has changed. And what's the point of playing? Oh yeah, we got new characters coming out. We got this new track coming out. So I think it's one, it's good that it shows that they're sort of forward thinking, that they're planning ahead, which means they're investing more into the creation of the game. But it's not like it's that earth-shatteringly different than just having like decent quality tours back to back. There's not that much different.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I do think though that there is some aspect where like it's almost kind of think about like in music, right? So like there is a build up, or you can't have quite the crescendo without having a low. So like the low makes the high even more. And so to John Girl's point, Angelita's point, like we do have to have that lull to really enjoy a celebration. So if we're always celebrating, then what's the point of the celebration? So I think, but you're right. You're like on paper, like what are we getting? A couple more tickets or a couple more, they have made things accessible. They have celebrated a little bit with like a super driver if you win ranked, but yeah, overall, like not like the biggest change. So you're right. It's not like always holding confetti. But at the same point in time, how long can they keep throwing 3 tour celebrations before we get it? And we're like, all right, are we ever not celebrating anything? Is there ever like, I don't know, if I was celebrating my birthday every day, eventually I'd be like, all right, it's just my birthday again. It doesn't have that pizzazz as it's like, this is more special because of this. Like, how do they top it from at that point? You know what I mean? So it's all really good questions. Other opinions, guys? John Boy, you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say something actually. We've actually, to be fair, started off this year with actually 3 really good tours. Every tour's been a brand new track. You had the Bowser's Castle for the New Year's.
Yep.
Then you had a brand new Singapore, and now you have brand new Wario Shipyard. And okay, Los Angeles is gonna be a repeat, of course. It might be Los Angeles 3 or something, but
We have that already, remember?
I didn't forgot, man.
We have 1 and 3, but not 2.
They gave us 3 already and haven't given us 2.
So they
could give us 4 this time. Who knows?
They apparently Mario doesn't know how to count, but that's why he's a plumber.
He's a plumber. It's a good point.
But anyway,
No offense to plumbers, by the way.
We don't take offense to nobody. But anyway, what I was trying to say is they've done it justice in the fact that they've given us something brand new just about every tour. A brand new track. We're getting, Los Angeles. It might be a repeat. It might be a different variation, but we've been to Los Angeles before. Nothing new to see there. But the Sky Tour, that's going to be a new track to the game. So out of the 4-5 tours that we've had or gonna have, that's what 4 tracks out of that's brand new. So if they can give us a brand new track every single tour, that's fine by me. But what I was saying, I think I was talking to God Mode and VC about it, is I would like for them to get to a point in the game to where they don't repeat the same tracks every single tour. Like we've had Bowser's Castle in the last 3 tours, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us are getting sick of Bowser's Castle. It's a great track, don't get me wrong, but like you say about the celebrations, once you've done it enough, it's just like, okay, whatever, But
I mean, it's a fun track. I'd much rather have that track than some of the other tracks that
we don't talk about Cheap Lagoon.
Cheap Lagoon, yeah, as an example. Yeah, but you're right. So like now it is not as exciting. So when Bowser's Castle comes back in 2 tours, are we going to be excited about it? Maybe not. Whereas like if Ninja Hideaway comes back, we're going to be losing our freaking minds. So
I was just thinking Ninja Hideaway as well, because I miss that track so much. Honestly, I miss it.
Amazing track. Yeah, so I don't
it'll
know.
come back. I think I know exactly when it's going to come back. It's probably going to come back for the 2.5-year anniversary celebration.
So bold, John Boy. So bold. No, I mean,
and then they'll release level 200 and level 8, and then we'll all quit the game.
You're obsessed with level 200 and level 8.
Oh, never mind. Y'all go ahead.
oh no, go ahead. No.
No, I'll save that for later. I'll save it for later. It's okay.
Well, no, I mean, you've already. It's too late. You can't put the snake back in the tube, buddy. Go for it.
Is that a saying? Put the
Actually,
snake back in the tube?
I think it's a two.
Never heard that.
Okay.
We're saying.
actually, you know, I was going to say it earlier. We were talking about our buddy Jeeves, and I actually did get to speak with him earlier today. And we're planning John Boy versus Jeeves 2.0. It's going to be set in Las Vegas or Los Angeles, excuse me.
Oh, Las Vegas. Are you guys going to fly to Vegas?
We're going to
Thinking, I'm like, where's my ticket?
Got home from Vegas last night.
Oh, you missed it. No, I'm just kidding. But no, we're going
So there's going to be a pulling party with you versus Jeeves in the LA tour.
Yes.
Nice.
Well, phenomenal. And you're going to whip his butt again, as you're saying.
Well, it's going to be his redemption tour. So hopefully he can come back on a good note and actually give ye olde champ a run for his money.
So everyone get your tickets now. Oh wait, we don't get tickets anymore.
Never mind.
Fair point.
We don't get tickets.
So Buffy also has another question about the 3-tour celebration. If you had a chance to design your own 3-tour celebration, what would it be called? What would be included in it? Why would you choose those specific things? So this was the runner-up on the icebreaker, because I think it's a phenomenal question, because it's interesting, right? It's like what would make to think about it like this way. So Nintendo has, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 7 3-tour celebrations between now and the anniversary. How do they out-celebrate themselves after celebrating all year round? Like and you got to pick it. Nintendo called you up and said, hey, FrenzyFans, ThisBeChris, Angelita, Night Roso, John Boy, you get to pick what you want for this 3-tour celebration. What would you choose and why?
I would choose a Pacific Island celebration because we haven't been to that part of the world. Well, we haven't been to quite a few parts of the world, but I would choose Maui, Tahiti, and Bora Bora. But I know that they're all like islands, so it wouldn't be anything like Cheap Cheap Lagoon. So yeah, forget that. So I would just choose it because it's the Pacific, and yeah, it's got like a tropical feel to it, if that makes sense.
You're saying have like a Hawaiian tour, like a Honolulu tour,
but like choose like the actual islands within the Pacific Ocean, which are just like in the middle of nowhere, and just make a track out of it. But do like ramps and stuff, and no water.
Wait, no water.
No going underwater. No going underwater at all. Not at all. Because I'm sorry, Wario Shipyard. I'm sorry, but no. So I would probably do that, but still have like the little side steppers and that sort of thing. So it'll be a little bit like Koopa Troopa Beach kind of thing, but you'd have like people like doing like the little hula dances and stuff like this, and but there'll be shy guys doing it. Like doing a little dance. So that'll be cool.
Would.
I mean, for as much as you hate Cheap Cheap Lagoon, I thought you were going to say you wanted like the North Pole tour or the Antarctica tour or something.
Oh no, that's for Christmas. That's Christmas time.
All right. Anything else you want to add to your tour? If you had to throw in a couple pipes or throw in packs or anything else to make it celebratory? Would you have what kind of cart? What kind of new cart would you add to it? That three tour celebration.
Like those rafts that you get, like those like the ones that Voyagers used to travel on, like in between the islands. Have you guys seen Moana? Okay, right. You know how like you had like the ramp and not the ramp, the boat and everything, like that she goes with Hey. Yeah, something like that.
Like Surf Sailor, kind of.
Yeah, just something like that. But can
Okay.
go on land, and you can just like paddle it like with your feet, kind of thing. I mean, imagine doing something like the Flintstones, Zach, where like you see the little feet going at the bottom. That's just a stupid idea, but yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah, I could see that.
That'd be really, stupid idea, but kind of funny.
Hey, no, it's your answer. You're allowed to give whatever answer.
Yeah.
Anyone else have anything else on the top of their mind?
I would love like a Halloween 3-tour celebration. They could add some of the Halloween stuff they have from the past. Like there's like a Toad, like a ghost outfit. There was Luigi werewolf.
Oh yeah, the werewolf.
Kamek, like with a sheet over him, like a ghost Kamek.
Luigi.
Yes.
Egad.
Egad, yes. So with 3-tour celebration, the first would have Luigi werewolf, second Gooigi, maybe Kamek ghost, and the final one would be Egad. And he could have and like reskins of the poltergust, and I think they can make that really epic.
Good. What else? I like it.
What, me to add on to it, or
No,
someone else?
you can't add on. I learned from asking Angelita to add what kind of cart. I learned to not ask that question anymore. So you don't have to answer that. We can move on.
We can have a coffin cart, so every time you get a coffin.
A coffin cart. Okay, yeah.
That'll be sick.
So can I kind of answer in a little bit different way?
He wants a Bowser.
Unpopular opinion.
Oh no,
Unpopular
not
opinion
again.
number
No.
two.
Not again.
Time for a
I
30-minute
was
debate.
wait till there was a nice good lull, but I'm really excited about this one.
Let's hear it.
Orange tour. Everything.
Orange door.
Where everyone is in orange carts and
Your
orange.
cart is an
lights.
actual orange, just rolling.
So
Like a
you're saying
orange
we're all in
TQ.
prison.
Orange bloopers.
Yes. Hey, orange is the new black.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't actually put enough thought into like make an entire new 3-tour like extravaganza festathon,
Oh, okay.
but I do have a prediction that I think is going to make Studfit's forehead crinkle up again like it currently is.
Every time you open up your mouth, his face is just gonna start doing
He
that. It's
just
like, oh no,
hates
it's
everything that comes out of my mouth. You're like, huh? So I'm just going to preface this with the last time that I made an off-the-wall prediction that got a funny-looking face from Studfit, it actually came to pass. So this time, I'm going to say, completely off-the-wall guess, this Sky Tour that's coming out as the third part of this little extravaganza festathon thingy.
Mhm.
Have you guys ever heard of or played Skylander?
I've heard of it.
Yes.
That's like little pieces you put on the thing.
I haven't ever played it, so I'm completely naive to this, except for the fact that I looked at a couple of YouTube videos beforehand, and Night Roso or anyone that has played this, please correct me if I'm wrong. But Nintendo ended up introducing 2 characters into Skylander, which was a Bowser and a DK that have sick looking armor with like huge, I think Bowser has like this huge hammer, and like Donkey Kong has like these 2 like barrels as fists. And it's a game, I guess it's like the first game ever where you can play in 3D. You can play Bowser as like a main character throughout the game, but they like have like their own like little like glider thing that comes in, and like every level they're like in the clouds, like going through, beating stuff up and like going through all the levels and stuff. So anyway, I'm curious if they're going to do some type of crossover with this Sky Tour. I know that it was some, like Nintendo DS course from before, but I wonder if they take this Sky idea and bring in, like, use that as the opportunity to bring in like another Bowser and DK.
You just want another Bowser all that.
No, but you guys got to check it out. Like, So this is the sickest looking Bowser ever. Like Meowser,
It really is.
I can
I'm looking at
appreciate
it
him.
now.
I think he looks cool. But this, like the armor that they have on this Bowser, like probably very, very close second to like Bowser Fury. Like as far as just like sweet looking, like totally rad.
Cool.
So
I'll
anyway,
spend hundreds for that.
Well, interesting.
This looks awesome.
So that's an official prediction. You've heard it here first. Skylander Bowser coming to Sky Tour.
and DK. And DK.
DK. Oh, DK.
Well, yeah, see that's what I'm saying is like everyone's gonna be draining rubies on the football Chuck, whatever his name is, charging Chuck.
Gosh.
And then they're gonna come out and they're gonna boom have this sweet Bowser and DK alts.
And nobody will have tickets because they stopped our daily selects.
No
Well,
rubies and
one,
no
one
tickets.
will have hammer and the other one will have banana barrels, unfortunately.
Banana barrels.
Don't rain on our parade, John Boy. Come on, man.
Yeah, I don't care what the Kong has. I just want the new Bowser alt.
You don't care about the Kong. You're gonna get everyone mad at you in the entire community. You can't say stuff like
We need a
that.
podcast just for your unpopular opinions.
Right.
Yeah.
And us arguing against it for an hour.
I'm getting used to it.
Unless you like Bowser, then they're really popular opinions. Yes, exactly.
You should come out with a new series on your channel is Mr. Frenzy Fan Guy's Unpopular Opinions.
It's gonna be just him ranting and me going like this the entire
A
time.
new segment, yeah.
The comment section is a minefield.
The entire podcast is, can I ask you a question?
Ask you.
Can I
Can I
tell
answer
you
your question with a question?
Then just extended long pauses and then afterwards, yes. Good. Any other 3 tour celebrations from you guys?
All right. I don't know what we'd call it, but I think we should have a 3 tour celebration where it is like the sun, the moon, and the earth. So each one being a different week. And like, do you guys remember in Mario Super Bros, there's like the angry sun?
Oh
I think
yeah.
it'd be so
Yeah.
cool if they like brought that to the game and made courses on it or something like that. I don't know.
Or
we
it
had
would
an
just come,
angry sun
or it would come
character.
like down and like attack you or something crazy.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
That'd be
You
something
could
like
even, you
that.
could even bring in some like galaxy stuff with the like stars and
Yeah.
Rosalina alts galore.
Mhm.
I don't know what we'd
Everybody
call
wants
it.
Luma.
Everybody.
Maybe we could call it like the lunar eclipse or something like that, where the sun tour or the sun cup and well, I guess. Wait, what do you?
Uh-oh.
Oh.
We learned a new word today. I thought you were bringing this up because of this new word that we learned.
No, I wasn't bringing that up because of that word. That's a really confusing word.
What was the word?
Syzygy.
What?
Have you guys ever heard that word before?
Oh
You
yeah,
spell it.
I use it all the time.
SYZY.
Is this like another word that means demonic?
He's
No.
he's being
no.
such a syzygy right now. Like you have
Such a
no idea.
So syzygy.
SYZYGY.
A conjunction or opposition, especially of the moon with the sun.
So it's
Okay.
All
so
right.
the phrase
Sure.
when the stars align.
So off topic.
No, it's not. You brought it up with the sun and the moon and the. I thought you were teeing this up.
Oh,
Like we just learned this word
wow.
tonight.
We're gonna call it the Syzygy Tour. This is a G celebration.
And
Sounds
then
pretty
nobody
catchy.
knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, we learned this on Young Sheldon this evening while we were eating dinner.
So it's when 3 celestial objects are right in a row. So like a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse.
Mhm.
You get the sun, the moon, and the earth, or the original, like the where the phrase came from, that the stars align, which I've actually been thinking about lately, is when you think about it, the stars always align, like they never change. But the planets, which people a long time ago probably thought at one point may have been stars, they do change their position one to another, and very rarely do they all line up. And so when the stars align is when those 3 planets would actually align, which would mean that it actually doesn't happen very often.
Welcome to our dinner time conversations. It's not quite cart talk, but
You lost me.
We're learning new words. We're learning astronomy. I mean, I barely knew how to pronounce Dogecoin until like 2 weeks ago. So you guys got me there. So I think we were talking about 3 tour celebration. I don't know exactly how that would look. I would say, just to get back to something we were talking about, I would have to have a Pittsburgh tour. I would absolutely love a Pittsburgh tour, going over the bridges. There's more bridges in Pittsburgh than any other city and metropolitan city. So I would absolutely love that. I think that would have to, you'd be like a steel column, like, or steel beam that you'd be riding on. Like, it would be so many cool things to do. But it would have that as in it. But I think, like, I really like John Grohl's idea of having like 3 cities back to back to back, and like maybe they're connected. So maybe like a Philly, Pittsburgh, and we only have really 2 cities, so it's not like we have. I guess we have Harrisonburg or something. Like, it'd be cool to like have like 3 cities or 3 things kind of collected together. Maybe Jacksonville, Miami, Tampa Bay. Or, I don't know. Like, it'd be cool to like have 3 cities. Maybe some 3 cities in Italy or something like that. It would be really, really cool to see like them tie the entire celebration. To your point, ThisBeChris, like, there's nothing tying these things together. Like, Waluigi and Wario have nothing to do with LA. That's nothing to do, like, if they're gonna actually kind of make it like more of a celebration, it'd be cool if they tied things together a little bit more throughout the celebration. So I don't know.
They did a bridges tour where it was like Pittsburgh and then like Portland, Oregon. I grew up in Portland,
San
Oregon.
Francisco.
It has tons of bridges.
Yeah.
San Francisco and
like Paris and like Florence are also pretty bridge heavy cities.
But they could do like an art tour and then do some of like the major art cities, like that, or something like that.
They could even do like a monuments tour or something, where like you could possibly have like Paris for the Eiffel Tower. You could have Mount Rushmore, for example, like you racing around there. And I don't know, thinking another one. I can't think.
Empire
Or you
State.
can do like you can incorporate like the 7 wonders of the world. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a tour.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
or like a music tour and you go through like Nashville and then you do like, we have Sydney already, but like they have the big, what's that building called?
Yeah.
The Opera House.
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
the Opera House. There we go. And like a bunch of other ones.
Town.
My idea for a 3 tour celebration was going to be the I'll word it more nicely. If you've seen Princess Bride, the famous quote, "As you wish." So basically, Nintendo just does a all right, we've heard you enough. So it says the "As you wish" tour. It starts off with Coconut Mall, and then there's a DK tour with DK alts, and then I couldn't think of a third one, but like basically what like the most like requested things is, it's basically like, okay, we're gonna give this to you, and then you can shut up and stop asking for these things. They probably got a lot of tickets about Coconut Mall and whatnot. So
DK Jungle 64.
oh, that's a good track.
Maybe they would release like the battle one in that
Battle mode.
battle
I
mode.
would love battle mode actually.
Well, yeah, battle mode would be pretty awesome. I think we're already salivating for that. But one other thing that we know is coming, but we have a little bit better idea of when it is, and that's charging Chuck. What skill do you think you'll have? What do you think? What are your anticipations or expectations are for Chucky?
Football barrels.
Football barrels.
I'm kidding. That's not a thing.
And your barrels is a pretty.
I don't have a filter. I
realistic.
just
I thought at first it was going to be a giant banana, but now the more I think about it, is with charging and running the ball, I think dash ring makes a lot of sense. So that would kind of be like my 1A and 1B would be like dash ring and giant banana.
I'm probably thinking mushroom because mushrooms give you speed, kind of thing. No pun intended. But yeah, if like you can just like throw a mushroom, then like you can run off with the ball.
But if you got caught, then you would be suspended for PEDs.
Performance enhancing
Gosh.
mushrooms.
It just depends on how fast you run, Yeah, you can just run faster. With a mushroom for speed behind you.
I do think dash ring is probably the #1 skill for that we've gotten wrong when it comes to assuming something has dash ring. There's so many times we're like, this makes sense to have dash ring, and then it's not. I think we were
Like Satellaview, we thought was going to have
or
dash ring.
Kamek, yeah, like so many that just made sense to have dash ring, but no, probably gonna be mushroom cannon or something stupid.
What do you guys think about triple green shells?
Triple green shells
For a high end? Oh, so are you thinking he's a super?
No, for a high end.
Oh,
That'd be
Because
cool.
we-
like
we have it?
football and like aiming
Yeah,
and like snipe with kind of long shot, but cross my mind.
I like it.
As long as it's not like a bomb cannon or something like that. I honestly don't see it being a giant banana or mushroom cannon because we already have 2 LA reps with those items. And they're
Yeah, Mario
probably going to come back next tour as a second week pipe.
So hear me out, guys. I have an idea. Is it okay if I ask you a question about my idea?
Okay.
That's not, that makes absolutely no sense, but you can tell me your idea and then I can ask you questions about it when I think it's ridiculous.
So we have a football team in LA called the Chargers that they are not actually about what you think they would be. They're about lightning. So what if there was a way to have like a lightning frenzy or some kind of way to be able to shoot lightning as a part of a special skill that the driver has? And this would be an introduction of that skill. It wouldn't be too hard. You just already include, lightning, but it's basically a lightning frenzy as a driver.
There is a skill in what I don't remember which game, but it's called a thunder cloud.
That's from Wii.
It's from Wii. What does it do exactly? Because I don't remember.
When you make physical contact, the cloud passes on to that other player, and if you have the cloud when it goes off, you get shrunk. So like if you get tagged with it, but you're able to tag somebody else, then it won't affect you. It would affect that person if the lightning goes off.
It's like hot potato.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Also, if you have the lightning, you do go slightly faster, so you can catch up to people and bump into them. Your boss are always bumping into me, so might as well give them something.
Nintendo gods, please come in clutch for us. How cool would that be?
Didn't the actual character like on SNES or whenever he came out, didn't he actually kick little footballs at you?
Yeah,
I remember they could easily like they could like reskin triple green shell with just like footballs. Because then he's still that's like true to the character. He's literally throwing footballs at people.
So interesting fact, Alex Young did some research and he found a YouTube video that he posted on the server where it's got like all these clips from of Charging Chuck, like from the very beginning, like through like the generations. And there's one where I think you're like a Yoshi character and it's kind of like a you end up shooting kind of like at the screen type mechanic. So it's kind of like the old like Duck Hunt, right? Remember Duck Hunt?
Yep.
Anyway, you're shooting at Charging Chuck and he's throwing bombs at you over and over and over, and then he moves and he throws more bombs, and he moves and he throws more bombs.
It's like in Yoshi's Safari.
Bomb spells, what you're saying.
Well, no, he has to move first, and then he throws bombs at you.
So
I'm sorry. I'd like to apologize for my husband.
But no, he throws bombs at you.
So it's like reverse Duck Hunt. Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
No, but you got to shoot him with like the Yoshi gun.
So you're saying he's gonna have double bob bombs?
Possibly.
Is that your prediction?
Yeah, that was from Yoshi's Safari for the SNES.
Yes.
Yoshi's Safari. Okay. All right. Not as cool as cloud lightning skill. But that's not bad. Not bad. All right. What are your thoughts for the LA Tour in general? Do you think we'll see too much buff going towards Luigi Vacation? How do you feel like his value or other people's value will be impacted coming out of what was a city tour last tour and going into one now?
I just hope he doesn't get the sunshine treatment.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Is it Meowser that has no cities yet? I mean, I would expect him to get some buffs for some LA tracks. If that's I believe that's the case.
Don't say that, man.
I know it stinks. I know, but
we went through the Singapore tour without any city buffs, and that was the tour right after he was introduced. So I don't know.
You know what was really shocking is Party Town Pauline got a buff that tour.
It was cool to see her though. I like it when they bring some old characters back that they probably know a lot of people haven't invested too highly in, and it's like, hey, the ones that did, there you go.
Keeping with that theme, what if they do the same thing next tour with a character that everybody's been overlooking, and then they just randomly throw it on top shelf somewhere?
Talking about
characters that would work with.
I don't think Hakama would get it.
Who are you talking about? Sunshine?
I'm just talking about basically any random character that, nobody has leveled up and nobody's used. King Boo Luigi's Mansion.
Oh my gosh. Fortunately, that guy's time is come and gone, like 3 years ago. Yeah.
It never came. It honestly didn't. It's
you know, John, you should go ahead and put all of your driver tickets on King Boo Luigi Mansion just in case.
I only have 10 and then I have none left, and then I'd be screwed. So,
All right. I think the last question we have about the 3 Tour celebration, we've had new tracks released, Retro and City. Why do you think that is? Do you think that more important, sorry, let me finish this. For more importantly, how do new tracks like Bowser's Castle, Warrior Shipyard, etc., added to the mix changes the meta of the game? Are the tracks enough to keep players engaged? We talked about this a little bit last time, which was, if you had to pick between a new driver or a new track, which one would you pick? And we kind of picked new track. But then we also have these city tracks that are really awesome, and then we don't never see them ever again. What are your thoughts on like some of these what seems to be reoccurring tracks? What do you think that'll change in the meta of the game? Do you think it'll change at all, or do you think we'll just see old tracks be less valuable, or do you think that they'll put some on the shelf longer than others, or do you think they'll just give us Bowser's Castle 3 times and then give us Warrior Shipyard 3 times, or how do you think the meta will change now that there seems like they're giving us new tracks more often?
I think it's going to keep people engaged in the game because, I think it's like we've had, Bowser's Castle how many times now? And it does become boring to have the same track over and over and over again. And I don't even remember the last time you had, say, for example, Rock Mountain. So it's like, yeah, they've got all these amazing tracks, but yet they just keep on repeating the same thing. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting sick of it because I think to myself, okay, fair enough. The pandemic changed a lot, so maybe they couldn't get into the offices to design the games, or maybe they couldn't input as much as they wanted to do. But now with things somewhat getting back to normal, even though they're not officially back to normal, they do have more time to be more creative. And I think that's what we started to see from since 3 tours ago. So we have had Singapore, we have had Bowser's Castle, we've got Wario Shipyard now, and we've got the Sky Tour coming up as well. We don't know what's going to go on with LA because, like we said, they can't count. So I, for one, would like to see something different, and maybe if they repeated a track for like the next tour, then fair enough. But when they do that, just quit and just create a new, just do something different for a 3rd tour. Don't bring something back like 3, 4, 5 times. It gets boring. That's just my personal opinion. So yeah, I like variation, I like change, but when you do something over and over again, it's not engaging.
I'm going to second that and say I hope they, put enough tracks into the game to where they probably already have enough now to where they can bring out the next tour and not have any repeat tracks from the tour before. Like if it came out this tour, then it wouldn't be in the next tour, if you know what I'm saying. I think I said it before, but that's where I really want the game to get to as far as keeping people engaged. Like she says, is I want to do new tracks. I don't want to keep grinding Bowser's Castle 50 times because I've maxed the track out. I've gotten the perfect score on it. I don't want to do it again next tour because that takes too much time. I want to do something else, And I think a lot of people that, at least do ACR like I do, feel the same way, they want to do something else. So if they could get to a point to where every consecutive tour, none of the tracks from the previous tour would be repeated, that means we got a fresh, clean slate of brand new tracks to do, that we didn't do last tour. I don't want to be stuck on the same track for a month, and have to do it over and over and over. It gets boring. But yeah, that's about all my rant goes.
Well,
That would be really interesting. I'm sorry, sir.
go for it, man.
I think that would be really interesting. I think it would also affect the meta probably a little more than you think, because they would have to cycle in the city or nitro or whatever, those other less used courses more often to meet those quotas. I think it'd be cool. Or you could even put in a wrinkle like the only if the 6 ranked tracks, or whatever, will be in the next tour as non-ranked tracks, and then they'll be out for a week, because that might, if whether you're doing, deciding between ACR or ranked in terms of resource utilization, if you knew like, okay, well, I know this track is coming back next tour, so if I want to make a top 1000 push, not only is it going to help me in ranked right now, but I'll, there'd be a neat way to kind of, but then again, that would also require a level of transparency from Nintendo that we haven't seen before. So I think the odds of something like that happening are extremely low.
I think
Yeah,
it
still-
also.
Go ahead and rest up. What were you gonna say?
I think it also affect the meta, as in like the hot drivers, karts, and gliders, ones that are being used in ranked, are going to be a lot more useful, because instead of these hot drivers being put on all these, I'm trying to say, instead of them being put on these new tracks we're getting just a couple times a year, we're getting them put on Bowser's Castle and this new Singapore that was used in ranked 4 times, and the new thing this tour and next tour and Sky Tour. So like, Yoshi Kangaroo is really hot right now. Well, that sounded weird. Yoshi Kangaroo is being
So
used
hot.
a lot.
Wow, wow.
For an orange character, he's pretty aesthetically pleasing.
So hot right now.
He's being used a lot
Kangaroo
in
Yoshi.
ranked right now, and so is like Satellaview, and so I think they'll be a lot more useful now.
It would also break up, the super meta people's ability to, highly invest in a select few things, and all of a sudden they have this amazing coverage that people can't compete with. It would, if Mario Sunshine all of a sudden is just as valuable as, the other high end plus skill drivers, that's something that's really interesting. So.
Well, and I think we're always bringing up. I hear all the time. In fact, we even have a question here about like how do we nerf the coin box, or how do we bring other how do we bring strength to the other skills? And like right now, really, if you boil it down to it, like you can either invest in ranked and what helps you for ranked. You can also invest in ACR and what helps you like in this long-term game. You can also invest in what helps you for multiplayer, based on skills and whatever. But like if we had battle mode, it would if you wanted to invest in a 4th category, it being battle mode, Coinbox would not be something that you would invest in. And so for kind of to everyone's point here of like, hey, how do we make people's tickets much more scarce? Well, give them another reason to invest in something other than Coinbox or other than a top skill. So if they made like a battle mode and Coinbox was basically as useless as anything else, then that would actually be a great way to bring up the skills by having a 4th category to invest in, or maybe even a 5th category. Like I know so many games where they're like a lot of the community even in our server, they've been playing the new Pokemon Arceus, and like the game is never ending. You could even though there's like a mission, there's like 20 other missions. You can catch these like little sprites. You can you obviously catch shinies. There's so many different things in the game that you can do, and you can that could be your thing, is going after this and catching alpha poke. There's so many variety of options you can do to play the game. For us, we just have really there's a select 150 people that go for top 100, and there's some occasionally people that go for top 1000 and might consistently do it, whatever. But I would say that maybe there are 300 people that invest specifically for All Cup ranking, whereas most people just invest for ranked. There's maybe another 200 people that invest for multiplayer, but really the majority of the people are just playing for ranked. So what if you gave them another category for them to invest in that would change the meta? Like that, to me, like that makes more sense than any of this changing daily selects or tweaking this or tweaking that. Just give us a 4th category to invest in the game. Just give us some other reason to enjoy the game, enjoy the resources that we have, but in a new way. That would be my recommendation to kind of solve that problem and really impact the meta. All right, well, we're wrapping up our 2 hours. In fact, I think we only got halfway through the questions, but I love the conversation. It was a lot of fun. So we'll go ahead and wrap up. One way we've been wrapping up here lately has just been, what's one thing that you would say to a new player? I think I absolutely love, if you are a new player, definitely leave us a comment, and we'd love to hear from you. I think that's one of my favorite parts now is hearing new players saying, hey, I just started the Toad versus Toadette tour. I just started doing this, but absolutely love watching and learning so much. There's been, there's a lot to catch up on, and you've helped, bridge that gap a little bit more than I thought there was in the game. So I always love kind of giving back and kind of sharing some of this. So we'll kind of go reverse order of how everyone was introduced, and just say, hey, what's one thing that you would, piece of advice for a new player? I believe Night Roso, you went, you were the last to go into the intro, so I'll let you say goodbye first this time.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thanks for having me. So my advice would be something different from last time. Remember that you own the game doesn't own you. You shouldn't feel forced to play the game. If you are feeling forced to spend hours grinding ranked, feeling forced to get all of your coins every day, that's not very healthy for you. So yeah, just play the game however you want to. Like, I don't do coins every day. I don't spend too much time on ranked because I don't find it too fun to do that. Just play the game how you want, how much you want. Don't feel forced to do anything you don't want to.
Awesome. I think who was the second to last? Was that FrenzyFans?
FrenzyFans always goes last.
Yeah, so we'll go second this time. Break the monotony. I think my advice to a new person would be to give a legitimate try to manual drift. I think a lot of times people start out with auto drift and go into the game, several months and kind of get used to it. And then, at least for me, there was this crossroads at like 9 or 10 months where I just kept on hearing everyone saying it's so much easier to keep combo and get higher scores if you do manual drift. And so I tried it a couple times. I was like, I don't like that. And
by a couple times, I mean there's like a solid month where
no. So before, like, I decided to make like the actual okay, I'm actually going to do this. I just tried it a couple times, and I was like, because I had been used to doing something for so long, that when I finally did decide, I just literally had to hunker down. I think it was like Donut Plains, like the original. That's just like, there's no jumps, there's no gliding, there's nothing at all you're doing is you have to, in order to keep combo, you have to do all the mini turbos. And so I just forced myself 2 or 3 days to only play that course doing manual. And it's true, you have to like get out of the habit of how you drive with auto in order to be
or gyro
or gyro. Yes.
Gyro.
So I guess that would be my advice.
I played gyro mode up until like 3 months ago.
Can I add something to this? I see Angelita over there laughing, but she's not going to be laughing next tour. Because she's nope. I'm
No, can I say it? Please.
Let's hear Angelita say it.
Okay, I've taken up a challenge from John for next tour, and because I only use auto, the next tour I'm using manual.
Woo!
Really manual. Nothing else. Just
wow.
So I said, yeah, I'm gonna have crap scores. But
you can do it.
I'm gonna give it a go.
You can do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna believe in myself when I'm gonna do it.
Yay.
So yeah.
It's
I knew you were gonna bring up that, John. I was waiting for it.
I saw you over there trying to hunker down in the corner like I wouldn't see you. Because we were literally just talking about this yesterday. And there is you can play auto, and there's a lot of people that do, but there is a ceiling
Yeah.
that you will hit eventually.
So we'll see how it goes.
Can anyone explain the mechanics why that is?
Well, one, it's I don't know how true it is, but it's rumored that mini turbos charge faster when you play in manual. And there's some tricks you can do in manual with smart steering on that you can't otherwise do. Like the wall bounce mini turbos that you see people doing. Like
Yep.
you bounce
Hard
off the
turn.
wall. No,
just
you just run into the wall and do mini turbos into the wall and just bounce down the straightaway. You can only do that if you have smart steering, because normally you would, like, you know, the invisible barrier that keeps you from going like on the off road. Well, if you didn't have it, you just go on the grass and you'd be stuck. But there's also other little tricks that are only possible. I figured out that if you like move, you know how when you start your drift and you have to like wiggle your thumb back and forth to keep your line.
Yeah.
If you do it like really fast, then it's like it almost instantly charges your mini turbo instead of like trying to. It's really hard to explain because it's you know, I do it based on like it's a feel kind of thing. How you
Can I take a whack at it?
Yeah, you take a whack at it. Go ahead.
Okay, so the way that I found, at least in my brain, to like make me like force me to go to manual from auto was whenever I would play with auto, I would start my turn with the auto button. So I would put my thumb on the auto button, which is in the middle of the screen, and then start to turn left or to turn right. Now in manual, what I do is I don't use that button. I put my thumb down anywhere on the screen above, and I actually double the amount of length of the screen that I can drag my thumb to do the drift. So I'm under the impression that in order to accomplish a drift, it's a function of both the distance and the speed that your thumb travels on the screen. And so if you're starting in the middle of the screen with that auto button, you're only allowing yourself half the width of your screen to be able to achieve the mini turbo. But in manual, if you start all the way over on the left side and you're turning right, you double that. And so you're able to achieve it faster and let go. Or if you're turning left, you start over on the right hand of the screen, you go all the way over to the left hand side of the screen.
Okay, I want to add on to that again, what you just said. I have now a feature on my phone. When I do live stream on your channel, you can there's a little cursor on my screen that shows my inputs as you watch.
Cool.
So you can actually see what my thumb is doing on the screen.
Yep.
Oh, like the little red dot.
It's a little white dot, but yeah, it'll move.
Okay.
Cool.
So if anybody ever comes to the drift school streams, shameless plug, I know, but you can actually see. But you can actually see what I'm doing as I'm, doing my tracks and stuff. And that will help people learn, the amount of inputs actually almost doubles from going from auto to manual that you're actually doing on the screen, because you have to counter steer and all this other stuff that you wouldn't normally have to do to maintain your line.
I do and just give you my phone and say, here you go.
There are apparently some like auto drifters that are phenomenal, like Trues, I know was an auto drifter. Anke is still an auto drifter, and I know that like there are a number, I think like 4 or 5 and still in ER. So somebody's able to do it. It's not me. I don't know how to auto drift at all. But the manual, I was talking with Professor Jay a long time ago. Like the manual, if you actually look at like how a draft is done with an actual car, it's like actually it's perfect. Like the way that you like angle, where your thumb is where like the front of the car is, and then as you shift it, like it's actually has, in some ways, if you think about it, like very similar mechanics to how you would actually drift in real life, which I thought was interesting. Because to me, it was like, why am I wiggling my thumb? This is really weird. But anyway, and so Angelita, is that your advice to new people, is to try the new challenges?
Yeah, I think that would be a fair thing to say. Yeah, because I mean, as long as you can get out of your comfort zone with no matter what you're doing with the game. I mean, like we always say, week in, week out, there's no right way and there's no wrong way to play. You just play the way how you feel. But if you can start out with manual, then definitely start out with manual, because there is that ceiling. There is only so far you can get with your points. And yeah.
For the majority of us, yeah.
Yeah, just
Yep.
get out your comfort zones.
ThisBeChris, I think you're our last one to give advice to the noobs.
For the noobs out there, I really just want to echo what Knight Roso said. I think he made a lot of awesome points about, there's no one way you have to play this game. Especially when you're first starting out, sometimes just getting all 5 stars on a on a track is difficult. So you don't have to stick with or listen to what somebody else did, and copy them. It doesn't mean you have to, spend 9 hours trying to get first and ranked. There's a lot of different ways to enjoy the game, and find out what you love, and take care of yourself in the process.
Awesome, man.
So I did this last time. We'll do it again. Check out Studfit's merch shop.
Buy that phone case, man. Buy that phone case.
Eventually someone's gonna buy something eventually. But and also while we're on plugs, Frenzy fans, I know we typically have like 1,000 to 2,000 people watch Kart Talk. I know you guys are coming up on your 1,000 subscribers, so definitely go to FrenzyFans. It's one word on YouTube. Check them out. The link is in the description. Check out their page and send them a subscription. We'll get them to 1,000. They'll get there. We know they will. So it's exciting to see you guys come upon that. I will say my challenge is kind of or my recommendation to new players is kind of similar to, I'll try to keep it kind of similar within the same vein of what we've talked about, which is just try this. Just try this on a race. Use two thumbs for every manual turn. So as you're turning, use a second thumb, go with that same turn. Just add it, just try it one race, just add 2 thumbs. So as you're turning right, turn right with the other hand. As long as you can hold your phone like with, and not like drop it. Just give it a shot. Just try it out, because I promise you, you will not drop combos. You will get harder turns. You will understand that you can impact your turn with 2 thumbs. I think it's interesting. No, not a lot of people bring it up, but I think it could. There's a couple times where I'm gonna drop combo. Just throw it in there. Just try it out. Just give it a shot, and you'll have a new skill in your arsenal. So there you go, guys. Over 2 hours together. How fun was that? Thank you guys for joining us, and especially Angelita, how late it is, or early it is, whatever you want to call it. Appreciate you guys all joining us. So until next time, may the frenzy luck be with you. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
See ya.